Number 1. The first break-in had the whole family unsettled, especially my little girl, my little Nicole. I remember the look of terror in her young eyes as her innocence began to dissolve. She was only 6 for goodness sake. She had always believed adults were there to be trusted and to help her, but the police were suddenly there to investigate and instill fear in her that had never existed before. I still remember the look of worry and confusion on her father's face. Confusion because nothing had been taken. The break-in was very sloppy. Broken glass, a tossed over chair, a trail of dirt leading out the back kitchen window into the backyard, and poor little Nicole, scared to death, watching as her father cleaned it up. I will never forgive them for giving her that look. The policeman had never heard of serial breaking and enterings where nothing was being taken, but evidence of more entries kept turning up. Little things, here and there, like picture frames out of place, damp spots on the rug, the television on a different channel, etc. But as always, the only thing ever taken was peace of mind. My poor baby girl couldn't sleep anymore. It was tearing me apart to see her like that. Nicole needed to feel safe, but no amount of security cameras, locks, or police patrols were able to stop the break-ins from occurring. There was even talk of taking Nicole away to protect her, putting her in a home far away. I vowed that I was not going to let that happen. It would not come to that. No one was going to take away my baby girl, not my precious Nicole. It was my duty to protect her, so I thought real hard, and finally it came to me. I went into her room and promised her that there would never be another reason to be afraid, because I had finally figured out how to stop the break-ins. I knew how to make her safe forever. I killed her mother in the living room and her father in the garage. Now I don't have to break in. No one is going to take my little girl away from me. Number 2. Every night I could feel their eyes on me. Every single night. I hated it. I don't know why my mother was so obsessed with those stupid dolls. We had cases and cases full of them. Eventually, she ran out of room to store them, so she started stacking them in my room on custom shelves she made. I hated those dolls. Every night, I would cowardly hide under my covers and watch them, making sure they weren't up to anything. They were so lifelike. Every time I blinked, I just knew they were inching their way closer. I eventually started throwing the dolls in the trash. Mother would just pull them right back out and put them back on display. When that didn't work, I started stomping their pretty little faces into a million pieces. Mother was upset, of course. With every doll I would destroy, she would buy 2 more. She was torturing me. She knew how much I hated them, but she didn't care. She wanted to watch me suffer from fright. She was selfish. That's why I had to do it. I have no regrets. Now Mother can't bring any more into our house. So, to answer your question, officer, that's why I killed her. I stomped her pretty little face into a million pieces, just like I did with her precious dolls. Number 3. The familiar knock woke me. I'd drifted off in front of the television. Hardly the first time this week. My baseball cap brim had crept down over my face, shielding me from the post-game drone. Again, the familiar knock. It was a pattern I'd used. Tap tap, tap tap, tap. Our house was at the end of a long driveway. No sidewalks in the neighbourhood. It wouldn't be a random passerby. I clicked on the hall light. The knock came again. Tap tap, tap tap, tap. More insistent this time. What time was it? The clock in the hall read 11:30. I should have been in bed, but my husband was away, and I didn't start my shift for another 12 hours. "Who is it?" I said at the door. Instead of a response, I got the knock. Again. I flicked on the porch light and peered through the eye hole. The form looked as familiar as the knock had sounded. I undid the lock and pulled the door open and saw myself. It was me, an identical copy. "Usually we don't do this face to face," my clone said. But he ordered a rush. I stepped out on the porch to get a better look at myself. Same height, same face, same general build that I'd once had. I had gained a few pounds. You're me," I finally said. "Yes, please, and if you'll come with me to the container, this will all be over shortly." The clone me waved a hand towards the driveway, and I could see an idling black van. No markings. The back door was open. The interior light was on though, and I could see the edge of a yellow vat. Perhaps a tanning bed. The lid was open. A breeze rippled. The grass and the leaves in the trees moaned. I wanted to go back into the house. I wanted to go back to sleep. "You won't feel anything." "I'd like to speak to someone." The clone explained that it was late and we needed to speed this along. I walked towards the house, brushed past my doppelganger, and started for the kitchen. That's where I'd left my phone. I needed to make one stop first though. When I reached the kitchen, she was there, holding my phone. "They implant us all with the same memories. I know exactly what you're thinking," the clone said. She said it with a kind of certainty. "In an hour, I won't remember this at all. That's the way it works." When I brought the hammer down, she slumped to the tiles. Blood oozed from her head, my head, but it wasn't a lot. She was breathing when I slipped her into the vat, baseball hat and all. I tapped on the van, and all they saw was the clone they'd dropped off waving. In an hour, the new me wouldn't have remembered this, but I remembered everything, and I had questions, and he'd be home tomorrow. Hello everyone, SinisterShaf here. I hope you enjoyed this short collection of stories. I would like to say a big thank you to the authors of these stories. To StuftRug for Strangers in My House, Hakerschord for I Just Really Hate Porcelain Dolls, and CD 2020 for meeting me, for giving me permission to narrate their stories. If you would like to view the original stories, there is a link in the description box below. If you like the video, then please leave a like, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, comment down below telling me which of these stories was your favourite. Also, for all of those who have been asking me whether there will be a Shaftober this year, I will be trying my best so that there is one. So stay tuned for that. And, as always, stay sinister.